This posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas.
President Trump just spoke for the first time following the strike on Iran over the weekend. What he's saying about the plans moving forward in the Middle East.
4 U.S. service members have been killed since the start of the war in Iran. I'm Rachel Hersheimer at the White House with the new developments that we're learning from the Pentagon as the attacks continue.
It's going to be an active week with numerous chances for downpours and thunderstorms for the first alert weather impact days. There's 3 of them coming up. I'll get you prepared for when the storms will be at their strongest.
Kansas City's news leader. This is breaking news from KMBC 9.
We want to thank you for joining us at noon. I'm Jamie Weiss. We have been following developments in the Middle East where a war is taking shape days after the U.S. and Israel bombed Iran. This morning, President Trump spoke to the media about the plans for the U.S.
Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their Navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon, never going to have a nuclear weapon. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders.
Deadly strikes continue across the Middle East after the U.S. and Israel killed Iran's supreme leader. Washington correspondent Rachel Hersheimer is following those breaking developments from the White House.
The Defense Department says 4 U.S. service members were killed after a tactical operations center was bombed, and more casualties are expected as the fighting continues. This morning, the Pentagon for the first time laid out the Trump administration's goals in Iran.
Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons.
Overnight, the violence in the Middle East intensified. New video shows U.S. Navy ships launching missiles. We're also seeing U.S. forces striking Iranian aircraft, while Iran and its proxy groups responded, firing at American bases and allies in the region. President Trump told the New York Times the operation could last 4 or 5 weeks.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Tom Cotton, says the military campaign is to protect the world from Iran's arsenal.
What the American people will see in the days ahead is going to be a methodical and systematic focus on Iran's missiles, its missile launchers, and ultimately its missile manufacturing.
But not everyone sees it that way.
I think the president has started a war of choice. There was no imminent threat to the United States.
Many Democrats are pushing back on the Trump administration's decision to launch the U.S. into another war and plan to vote this week on a war powers resolution to restrict President Trump's ability to take further action.
There was no cause for us to go to war with Iran, and to go to war with Iran over regime change and risk American lives with such tragic result, I think was a terrible mistake by the president.
The Pentagon says additional U.S. forces are moving into the region today, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said they are not ruling out U.S. military boots on the ground. At the White House, I'm Rachel Hersheimer.
The U.S. military says B-2 stealth bombers based out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Nob Noster were used in the operation on Saturday. Military officials say the aircraft dropped several 2,000-pound bombs targeting Iran's ballistic missile program. Whiteman Air Force Base is the only base operating B-2 bombers in the U.S. We know that here at home, gas prices are already spiking in the wake of the attacks in Iran. KMBC 9's Martin Augustine shows us why you'll have to pay and how much.
If you're filling up your tank today, you're going to notice the difference here along 350 Highway in Raytown. This gas station back here, gas is going $2.99 a gallon. That's almost 60 cents a gallon more expensive than the average price of a gallon of gas in Jackson County, Missouri just a week ago. Now, most oil analysts, no surprise here, point to the beginning of the military attacks in Iran this weekend as the main culprit in this spike. Jittery oil prices forcing up the price due to fears the supply of the world's oil is threatened by these attacks on Iran. And there's a reason for that fear. We'll show you why in just a moment. As of this morning, oil pumped from U.S. wells is selling for $72.79 a barrel. That's up more than 8% from Friday, and that Friday price was already a 7-month high before this latest spike. However, countries making up OPEC, the international oil trading cartel, announced plans yesterday to boost oil production to help moderate the price per barrel. Now, the oil price dilemma is in large part the result of geography. The Strait of Hormuz at the mouth of the Persian Gulf is narrow. Iran, as you see here, right on top of it. So political instability or military action in the region can threaten to close down the strait. And 20% of the world's oil, regardless of where it ends up, is shipped through it. Now, back here along 350 Highway in Raytown, this gas station also selling gas for $2.99 a gallon. And, of course, the frustration among all of us who are regularly filling up our cars with a tank full of gas is just how quickly the price of gasoline will spike after a crisis, but then how slowly it seems to come down. Reporting from Raytown, Martin Augustine, KBC 9 News.
We're going to continue to follow all the developments overseas and here in the U.S. In about 10 minutes, we're going to take a look at how major cities, including right here in Kansas City, are dealing with the rising tensions and uncertainty following those attacks overseas. Again, we'll have those updates in just minutes. For now, though, I am here in the Weather Center checking in with First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender because it's kind of a dreary day right now, but we've got a lot on the radar this week.
Yeah, it's going to get warmer, it's going to get more humid, and it's a pattern set up for rain and thunderstorms. Okay. So we're kind of changing gears from that thunder, sleet, and
that was crazy yesterday.
We had yesterday. Yeah, we are moving toward a spring-like setup. I'm going to be over on Lynx 1. We did have some patchy fog earlier this morning, and I don't think that's going to be a big deal for the rest of the day. We have a cloudy sky right now, and it's cold. It's 38 degrees with a chilly east breeze at 10 miles per hour, kind of locking that chill in. Temperatures will warm a few more degrees into the afternoon, but maybe not much from where they are now to make it feel any warmer. It's 40 degrees in Olathe, Paola, and Lacine, 37 in Cameron, Chillicothe, and Liberty. For the rest of the afternoon into this evening on the 12-hour forecast, no rain chances until overnight. Rain showers will begin after midnight, so your afternoon and evening will be dry, just cold and cloudy with that brisk and kind of damp east wind. Now, there are 3 first alert weather impact days this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Scattered off and on showers and a few thunderstorms. The severe risk on both days is low. Could get a few storms on Tuesday to produce hail, but when we get into March, thunderstorms producing hail, not that uncommon. Thursday is your best day for outside play, a lot warmer with more sunshine, and our third impact day on Friday. The parameters a little more favorable for stronger storms Friday afternoon through Friday night. Jamie.
All right, appreciate the heads up. Thank you, Nick. Well, we do want to get you prepared for potential severe weather. Of course, Nick just mentioned that could be on our way this week. Today starts Severe Weather Preparedness Week. Each day is dedicated to education on a specific topic like tornado and flood safety. Today, it's all about being prepared and informed. There are a lot of ways to get alerts, one of which is our free KMBC 9 News app. You can download it on your phone to see the latest forecast for your area. Today, Jackson County leaders will discuss several issues at the county's legislature meeting this afternoon. They'll be talking about banning law enforcement officers from wearing face masks, barring all permit and zoning approvals for non-county or municipal government-owned detention facilities, and they're going to discuss a charter amendment for the upcoming April 7th election. That meeting is set for 3 o'clock this afternoon. The Independence City Council is set to vote on a plan for a proposed data center today. The council will vote on an ordinance that'll authorize the city to issue 2 taxable industrial development revenue bonds. These would not exceed more than $150 billion, and it would cover around 398 acres near 501 North Bly Road, and the European company Nebius would use this. The City Commission meets at 6 o'clock tonight. The permit process over a potential ICE detention center in Leavenworth will continue. On Friday, the Kansas Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the city, agreeing that CoreCivic needs a special permit to reopen its private prison in town. It's now up to the Leavenworth City Commission, and a final vote could come as soon as next week. KMBC 9 Cares for Kids needs your help to help some of the smallest Kansas Cityans. We're partnering with Happy Bottoms to help families get the diapers they need. The cost of diapers has gone up nearly 40% in the last 2 years, and families are struggling to keep up. Without these necessities, kids have to miss daycare or school, and parents aren't able to go to work. Even a small donation to Happy Bottoms can provide a family with a little security and keep a baby happy and healthy.
It gives a family stability, and then it also really helps a child well, actually helps a family make sure that their child is clean, dry, and healthy. It eliminates those opportunities that they might have to go to a hospital because of some rash or something else. And so if we can provide that hand up, that is what we want to do here at Happy Bottoms.
Our goal is to cover the cost of 2 million diapers for local families. A $12 donation will diaper a baby for 1 month, but any amount that you can give will make a big impact. To get started, all you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or log on to kmbc.com/community for more. Well, shaping the future of Kansas City, Missouri spending, where you can go tonight to share your thoughts on the upcoming city budget. Plus, we are continuing to follow the breaking news out of the Middle East. U.S. cities are on alert as Iran retaliates from U.S.-Israeli strikes. The message from Kansas City Police about preparedness here at home.
Your source for First Alert Weather and News Chopper 9, Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
We continue to follow that breaking news overseas in the Middle East. These are live pictures from Doha, Qatar, where it's about 9 o'clock in the evening there. A Qatari government spokesperson says Iranian attacks targeted civilian infrastructure in Qatar, including the airport. We are hearing of an oil tanker being attacked in the Gulf of Oman by a bomb carrying a drone boat. This is just the latest attack following the weekend attacks by the U.S. and Israel that killed Iran's supreme leader. Kuwait's Ministry of Defense says several U.S. fighter jets crashed on Monday. And in this video, you can see what looks like a jet tail spinning out of the sky. The ministry did not say how many jets crashed or what caused them to crash, but the video also shows a pilot parachuting to the ground. Kuwait says all crew members survived. In Pakistan, at least 22 people were killed in pro-Iranian demonstrations and more than 120 were hurt. Protesters stormed the U.S. consulate Sunday in Karachi. The U.S. Embassy urged U.S. citizens to avoid large crowds, stay aware of their surroundings, and keep their travel plans with the U.S. government up to date. Here in the United States, several big cities like LA, Phoenix, and Philadelphia are responding to the weekend attacks by increasing police patrols around synagogues, mosques, and community centers. While no credible threats have been received, local officials are working with state and federal partners to monitor the situation. Here at home, Kansas City, Missouri police say they're monitoring national and international events right now. They have not received any direct threats to our area, but a spokesperson for the department said, quote, "Collaboration, communication, and information sharing is something we regularly do with law enforcement agencies across the nation and beyond just our region." A former Team USA women's basketball player is stuck in the Middle East. Destiny Littleton plays professionally in Israel, and she says she wants to get back stateside. She described things overseas this morning on GMA.
When I went outside, you can hear the interceptor missiles, blow up the missiles coming towards us. And that was very scary. People have asked me how I felt. How have I been feeling? And to be honest, we don't really have time to feel anything. We're in survival mode.
We're going to continue to follow the breaking news for you throughout the day on KMBC9. You can look for those updates here and online at KMBC.com. Turning now to news here at home. Kansas City, Missouri leaders will hold their second public budget hearing tonight. You can have your questions answered at the Guadalupe Community Center off Cesar Chavez from 6 to 8:30 tonight. The proposed budget adds up to about $2.5 billion with an emphasis on public safety, transportation, and more. This would take effect in May. The women's Big 12 tournament comes to Kansas City in just 2 days. They'll be taking the court at the T-Mobile Center. The K-State women will get the action started against Cincinnati at 11 on Wednesday. Kansas will take on UCF Wednesday at 8 p.m. The 16-team field will culminate with the championship final on Sunday. And then the men's Big 12 tournament is next week. They will start next Tuesday. The men's teams have 2 more games this week, so seedings could change a bit. But right now, Kansas State is looking like the 15 seed, making their first game next Tuesday. Kansas is tied with Iowa State for the 4th seed. This would give them a 2-round bye, and then their first game would be next Thursday if these standings hold. This is cool, though. A first for the United States will happen on the court at the Big 12 tournament. Women's and men's teams are going to play on an LED floor. This is what it's going to look like. So cool. This is the first time in the U.S. that this type of technology will be used in an official competition. The floor can be changed to showcase the teams playing and can show other graphics as well. The Big 12 Fan Fest will be set up on Grand Boulevard in front of the T-Mobile Center. It opens up this Wednesday and will be open up every afternoon during both the men's and women's tournaments. There will be food trucks, merch, and activities, and new this year, a mobile esports arena and hat customization booth. So sounds like a lot of fun activities in store. But Nick, obviously we got to pay close attention to the forecast with FanFest being outside.
Yeah, 'tis the season for basketball and 'tis the season for thunderstorms. The beginning of March typically marks the beginning of the spring storm season in Kansas and Missouri and much of the Midwest and the Plains. And there is an active weather pattern ahead this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are all impact days. Let's take them one at a time. Tuesday and Wednesday, scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms. So a few thunderstorms, mainly on Tuesday, not enough instability on Wednesday for many thunderstorms. So both days, a low risk of severe weather, though there may be enough elevated instability on Tuesday for some storms to produce small hail. This time of the year, thunderstorms producing hail, not that uncommon. So there could be some small hail with some of the storms on Tuesday at any time of the day or night, but not washout days. There's going to be long stretches of dry weather on both days. And then Friday is our third impact day. Scattered thunderstorms. I'm focused on late afternoon into Friday evening for scattered thunderstorms. And the parameters look a little more favorable during that time for severe weather than Tuesday and Wednesday. So as we look ahead on the 12-hour forecast for the rest of the day into this evening, cloudy and chilly. Rain showers do not develop until after midnight. And I would have my rain gear with me for Tuesday and Wednesday. And I would also make sure that you have the KMBC app on your smartphones. That way you're getting the latest information. You can check interactive radar, and if there are any alerts issued, watches, warnings, not saying that there will be, but if there are, you will receive those on your phone, no matter where you are. The hour-by-hour forecast for Tuesday, again, I know this looks like a washout, a shower or thunderstorm is possible at any time of the day, but it's not going to rain and storm all day long tomorrow, and it'll be warmer. We'll have high temperatures reaching into the mid-50s. Wednesday, scattered rain showers, maybe a storm or two. Thursday is the best outside day of the week. Sunny, warmer, 70 degrees. And you're going to notice the humidity really begin to increase into Friday with dew point values reaching into the 60s, setting the stage for what could be another round of rain and thunderstorms late Friday afternoon into Friday night. It'll be chillier behind the cold front on Saturday, but a drier weekend, warming to 70 degrees on Sunday as we begin daylight saving time. So this is that weekend that we spring ahead 1 hour. You'll lose an hour of sleep, but the sun won't set for an hour later, so longer days ahead, or I should say later sunsets, but longer days as well. Friday afternoon and evening, here is the risk area: northern Texas, Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, into northwestern Missouri. This is during the afternoon and the evening. Some of the storms that develop in this area may produce large hail, damaging wind, and a few tornadoes, but there's still a lot of uncertainty. This is a 5-day severe weather forecast. Experience tells us this is going to change, but this is the starting area for favorable ingredients or a favorable environment for severe thunderstorms as storms develop within that area. The other concern would be for flooding toward the end of the week after round of showers and thunderstorms. We put a lot of rain in the ground, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches Tuesday through Saturday. So we're concerned about flooding toward the end of the week with that final round of rain and storms Friday afternoon to Friday night. Jamie.
All right, thank you for the heads up, Nick. Well, a downtown theater is closing its doors. The reason why and what it could mean for the future of the space along the streetcar line. A horror sequel's debut won the weekend box office. It showed that once again, Scream can scare up success.
If you hurt her, I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it.
Scream 7 opened up with $64.1 million. That is the best opening weekend for Scream films in its 30-year history. GOAT lost the top spot with $12 million, while Wuthering Heights came in third. Liberty-based B&B Theaters is closing its Main Street Theater in downtown Kansas City. The company made an announcement on social media on Sunday. A rep writes, quote, B&B routinely reviews the theaters in our circuit and makes decisions based on what will best strengthen the company going forward. After thoughtful review, we have made the decision to exit this location. We have reached out to B&B about this closure. A spokesperson says to stay tuned for a very exciting announcement. Keep in mind, other B&B theaters around the metro will stay open. Finding a safe, reliable, and affordable car is harder than ever. KMBC 9's Donna Pittman and Consumer Reports are breaking down the top picks for 2026 to help you shop smarter.
Everyday Consumer Reports tests new vehicles at its state-of-the-art facility, measuring everything from safety and performance to fuel efficiency and cargo space. Beyond the test track, CR's member surveys give exclusive real-world insights into reliability and owner satisfaction from about 380,000 vehicles this year.
The CARS team looks at data from our testing and from member surveys to determine what are the 10 vehicles that stand out most in their class. These are the vehicles that are easy recommendations to make and a great starting point for any car shopper.
SUVs are as popular as ever this year. Subaru's Crosstrek and Forester, along with the Toyota Grand Highlander, all make CR's list. Looking for something more upscale, top luxury SUVs include the Lexus NX and BMW X5.
We also have a couple great sedans on the list with the Honda Civic and Toyota Camry. Both of these performed well in our tests, get terrific fuel economy, and are very reliable.
For drivers who want a truck that's easy to live with, the Ford Maverick is CR's pick for best small pickup, and the Ford F-150 makes the list too, the first full-size pickup in years to score high enough to be a top pick. The Tesla Model Y is CR's pick for EV, but for the first time, all 10 of Consumer Reports' 2026 top picks are available as hybrid or EV versions. All of Consumer Reports' top picks come standard with key safety features, including automatic emergency braking that operates at highway speeds and includes pedestrian detection. Donna Pittman, KMBC 9 News.
You're watching new airstrikes and a growing death toll in Iran and across the Middle East. 4 American service members killed and Iran striking back across the region. What we're learning this afternoon and why President Trump says U.S. operations could last weeks. We are taking a live look outside over the Country Club Plaza as we see some severe weather potentially come our way later this week. Nick Bender is breaking down the forecast. We'll have more news and weather in the next 3 minutes.
committed to serving our neighbors in Kansas and Missouri. Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
Well, thanks for sticking with us at noon. I'm Jamie Weiss. Meteorologist Nick Bender has your first alert forecast. We've been talking about the changes coming our way this week because it's just kind of dreary today, but it's going to get warmer and soggier over the next couple days, right?
I think so. Yeah, by the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, you have the concern for flooding. So there's a lot of rain on the way this week, and there may be some bouts of stronger storms. I'm focused on late Friday afternoon to Friday night for that. There are several impact days this week. The first one is tomorrow, so no rain today. Even though it looks like it wants to rain, it's not going to. It's a cold afternoon. It's only 38 degrees, a cloudy sky, and a brisk east wind at 10 miles per hour. Temperatures holding in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. And we might only warm a few more degrees this afternoon with a cloudy sky and an east wind. That tends to keep temperatures fairly steady, especially on late morning or early spring afternoons like today. As we look on our 12-hour forecast in Kansas City, again, may warm a few more degrees into the 40s. I don't think it's going to feel that much different than what it is right now. A cloudy sky for this evening. No rain until overnight. So overnight tomorrow morning, scattered hit or miss rain showers. And there's probably going to be a few thunderstorms as well through the day on Tuesday into Tuesday night. More rain showers on Wednesday, less thunderstorms. But neither day has a higher severe risk. There could be a strong storm on Tuesday, maybe a storm that produces some hail, but thunderstorms that produce hail this time of the year, not that uncommon as we move into the beginning of storm season here in the plains this week. Thursday, that's our outside day. The ground could be a little soggy. It'll be a lot warmer with more sunshine, and that will set the stage on Friday. Friday will begin humid. It could begin with rain and thunderstorms. There could be additional rounds of storms late in the day. It's that round of thunderstorms that has the greatest potential of producing some severe weather. Jamie.
Air raid sirens sounded in Tel Aviv Monday morning as Iran fired missiles at Israel. The conflict is intensifying overseas, more than 48 hours after the U.S. and Israel struck targets in Iran. Israel also launched a new wave of strikes in Tehran today. This afternoon, the Trump administration is being pressed about why the U.S. decided to launch this operation and how long we plan to stay in it. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
With the U.S. military operation in Iran stretching into its third day, today President Trump stood before news cameras for the first time to address the massive attacks that killed Iran's supreme Ayatollah.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the president gave the go-ahead on Friday afternoon, watching the attacks hours later from his Mar-a-Lago resort. Hegseth was pressed today on whether Iran posed an imminent threat to the U.S., given the plans did not go through Congress, and following last summer's operation that the administration said, quote, obliterated the country's nuclear program. He didn't offer specifics, only referencing retribution.
Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult.
When asked about a potential timeline, President Trump over the weekend told the Daily Mail he expects the operation will last roughly 4 weeks. The Pentagon, however, is keeping a potential timeline open-ended.
This is not a single overnight operation.
Hegseth didn't discount putting U.S. troops on the ground, but is adamant this is not an endless war like those the president campaigned against.
But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years.
The Iranian Red Crescent says hundreds have died in Iran since the strikes began. The U.S. also announced the deaths of 4 service members during attack operations, as well as the loss of 3 F-15 fighter jets that they say was due to friendly fire from Kuwait.
Trump and Hegseth both paid respects to the American service members who have so far been killed in Iran's retaliatory strikes. The president also shared a grim warning that more American lives may be lost. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, over the weekend, protesters in Kansas City demanded an arms embargo as they criticized U.S. and Israeli military action against Iran.
Stop bombing Iran! No war with Iran! No war with Iran! Stop bombing Iran! Stop bombing Iran!
Just hours after the joint bombing efforts on Saturday, protesters took to City Market Park. People we spoke with tell us they question the president's authority to carry out strikes without congressional approval. Frustrations also stem from spending trillions of dollars in military spending when the affordability crisis in the U.S. worsens.
Did going into Syria drop your grocery bill? Did kidnapping Nicolas Maduro bring down your light bill?
No!
We pay for every bullet, bomb, and drone that flies into Iran with our hard-earned wages, and the people of Iran pay for those with their lives.
They say if you're angry and you don't know what to do, look to your community and organize. Well, these strikes have already had quite the impact on the oil industry. According to FactSet, trading prices shot up around 8% when markets opened on Sunday. Iran is a key oil producer and has control over part of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping route. Other leading oil producing countries say they will boost oil production to try to keep prices down. We'll, of course, continue to bring you the latest updates on Iran all day long and throughout this conflict. We'll also follow how strikes overseas could affect lives here at home. Count on us for coverage on air and online at KMBC.com. The Missouri legislature will hold hearings today on 3 different bills, all designed to keep transgender people out of some bathrooms in the state. A Missouri House committee will hold hearings on one of the bills this afternoon. One would ban trans Missourians from using a bathroom that does not match their sex assigned at birth in any building that receives public funding. The bill also bans all gender bathrooms like the ones at the Kansas City airport. A second bill would only ban transgender people from bathrooms in government buildings and domestic violence shelters. This bill also allows anyone in Missouri to sue a transgender person if they feel like they saw them in the wrong bathroom within the past 2 years. A third bill prevents private schools from being sued if they prevent a transgender child from using a bathroom that does not match their sex assigned at birth. Keep in mind, the state of Kansas is already being sued for a new law that targets trans people. The law took effect last Thursday, affecting multi-person bathrooms in public buildings. It requires people to use the bathrooms of the sex they were assigned at birth. The law also invalidates driver's licenses that reflect the genders of trans Kansans. 2 transgender men from Lawrence are suing with the backing of the ACLU. They say the law violates constitutional rights to privacy, personal autonomy, due process, and freedom of expression. They are asking the court to block the law from taking effect while this case is being argued. Attorneys maintain that the new law demeans their personhood, obstructs their ability to participate equally in public life, and exposes them to heightened risks of harassment and violence by forcibly outing them. Nick?
Several rounds of showers and thunderstorms expected through Friday. Flooding may become a concern later this week, along with the potential severe thunderstorms coming up. What you should do today to prepare for the week ahead.
While March Madness is approaching, Diaper Madness is now underway. We'll show you how you can help a local diaper bank reach its goal without leaving your home.
Your source for first alert weather and News Chopper 9, Kansas City's news leader, KMBC 9 News.
Thank you. I will walk over there in just a sec. But yeah, I knew when I saw that, Nick, I had to send it to you because that was crazy. And apparently they got written up in People magazine. I think that's so funny. Oh yeah, I am at the up 90. I got paranoid for a sec thinking I was in the wrong spot, but I was correct. 2 million diapers, thousands of children in need, and $12 to make a difference. KMBC 9 Cares for Kids and Happy Bottoms are working to make sure our youngest Kansas Cityans stay happy, healthy, and dry. But as KMBC 9's Laura Moritz reports, we need your help.
Inside a busy warehouse in Kansas City, Missouri, thousands and thousands of diapers are being bundled up for our youngest Kansas Cityans.
We've grown 20% over last year and distributing about 6.7 million diapers out our door.
Happy Bottoms is Kansas City's only diaper bank, providing free diapers to thousands of local children every month. And the need is growing.
The prices of diapers have increased over the last couple of years. We've seen the price increase almost 38%.
Meaning more and more families are struggling to make ends meet.
What we have heard families say to us is that they've had to use other essential items in their households to take the place of a diaper, and we don't want anybody to ever have to think that they have to use an old t-shirt. Maybe it's a plastic bag from one of the grocery stores. Maybe it's a newspaper.
Diapers are not covered by government programs like WIC, Medicaid, or food stamps. But anyone who needs help can connect with Happy Bottoms and receive 75 free diapers a month.
If a family needs diapers, we are going to make sure that that family has the right size diaper and the dignity that goes along with that and their families.
Your support can help thousands of local families get through the tough times.
If we can provide that hand up, that is what we want to do here at Happy Bottoms. It's a hand up, not a handout.
Our goal is to cover the cost of 2 million diapers for local families. A $12 donation will diaper a baby for 1 month, but any amount you can give will make a big impact. To get started, all you have to do is scan this QR code on your screen or log on to kmbc.com/community. Kansas City is celebrating its indigenous roots, how the Native American Cultural Festival turned the Nelson Atkins into a hub of music, art, and learning. And the NFL Combine is officially in the books, which prospects boosted their draft stock and what that means heading into April. A resolution in Kansas City, Missouri aims to help the homeless community ahead of the World Cup. It says Kansas City wants to be welcoming to World Cup visitors this summer, and city leaders want to use the moment to better support residents. It asks the city manager to create a plan within 30 days. That plan would increase shelter space, expand outreach teams, provide job opportunities related to the World Cup, and train law enforcement on de-escalation and connecting the unhoused with services. Advocates for the unhoused say encampments have been cleared out ahead of past sporting events in KC, like the NFL Draft back in 2023. Well, a piece of music history with local roots is taking center stage in Independence this weekend. A new documentary at the Englewood Arts Theater tells the story of record producer Ralph Peer, often called the father of roots music. Peer grew up in Independence and went on to record and publish artists like Jimmie Rodgers and Kansas City jazz legend Benny Moten.
And at a time when most of the recording was taking place in New York, Ralph Peer took advantage of the new mobile technologies and traveled all the back roads of America looking for new performers, foundational performers in all the regions of the country.
The film explores how his work helped shape American music as we know it. The NFL Combine is now in the books. Draft hopefuls had a chance to boost their stock in Indianapolis before the big event this spring, and we saw plenty of standout performances, including one from Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq, who set a record with the fastest 40-yard dash ever run by someone in his position, 4.39 seconds. Wow. The focus now moves to the draft, but teams will continue to shape up their rosters before then. The Chiefs do have a rare opportunity picking 9th overall this year after finishing the season 6-11. Head coach Andy Reid says the front office has been working hard with staffers, holding lockdown sessions to break down prospects. Defensive linemen and wide receivers are expected to be the priorities for the team when the draft kicks off in late April. In men's soccer, Sporting KC held their own during their home opener on Saturday. This year's team has got a new look with a new coach, lots of new players, and even a new GM. The Cauldron was going crazy for the team at Sporting Park. Sporting had a much better performance than at the season opening loss. Dejan Joveljic put up a pair of goals, but they just couldn't make it stick. Columbus would tie it at 2, and that's how it ends in a draw. SKC is still looking for that first win, but head coach Rafael Wicki likes how this team is coming together.
The commitment of everyone since day one has really been good, and I think that is something which makes me very, very happy. Next to the football side, that is a team, and we're creating a team.
Well, next up, Sporting will play San Diego on Saturday. Kickoff is at 7:30. You can see them play in town again next Saturday. That's also when the KC Current will host their home opener, March 14th, against the Utah Royals. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock. And as excited as we are, Nick, about some soccer here in the Metro, there's a lot we got to look at with the forecast. First, a lot of storms we might have to get through.
Several first alert weather impact days this week, Jamie. We issue those when we think rain or thunderstorm, especially this time of the year, is going to have an impact on your outdoor plans. We'll begin with that on Tuesday with scattered downpours and a few thunderstorms likely throughout the day. So it's not going to rain and storm the entire day, but showers, hit or miss, and a few thunderstorms will begin tonight and stretch through Tuesday night. And then we'll lose a lot of instability necessary for thunderstorms on Wednesday. I can't rule out a few rumblers there, but that looks mostly like rain. The overall severe threat on both days is low, but the stronger storms on Tuesday may produce some hail. Thunderstorms producing hail becomes more common this time of the year as we enter storm season. We start to get more moisture, more instability, those types of ingredients necessary for hail producing thunderstorms. Friday, scattered thunderstorms, especially during the late afternoon, evening, and at night. I'm most focused on that time frame for an increasing potential of severe weather. Looks like more favorable parameters for at least stronger storms. Now, this is still 5 days away, and that forecast is going to change some, but there's at least some evidence of the necessary ingredients or an environment favorable for stronger storms beginning late Friday afternoon into Friday night. It's cold and cloudy right now, and it's going to stay that way through the rest of the day. No rain until overnight. See that 1 a.m., so very early tomorrow morning, scattered rain showers and a few thunderstorms are possible. When I show you the hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow, it's going to look like a washout, but it's not going to be. But I can't rule out a downpour or a thunderstorm at any hour of the day tomorrow, whether that be 6 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So Tuesday and Wednesday will be days for your rain gear. And if you don't already, download the KMBC app on your phone. You're certainly going to want that for storm seasons, but it's just a great tool to receive weather information, weather alerts, no matter where you are. We really want you to have that heading into storm season. Thursday, that's going to be the pick day for outside play this week. Ground might be a little soggy if we get the rain in here Tuesday and Wednesday, but sunny and a lot warmer, and it'll stay warm and humid. You're going to start to notice that humidity coming up. You're going to go, oh, it kind of feels a little stormy Friday morning. as dew points climb above 60 degrees, and that'll set the stage for a dry line and cold front that's going to come through late in the day. It'll be a lot cooler on Saturday, but then returning to 70 on Sunday. That's the beginning of daylight saving time. So this is that weekend that we spring ahead 1 hour, Saturday night, early Sunday morning. But I wanted to bring you back to Friday's impact day. This is the area where the ingredients would support stronger thunderstorms. So this is not a forecast that storms are going to develop. It's a forecast of where storms, if they do develop, will have the capability of hail, wind, and maybe a few tornadoes, but there's still lots of uncertainty with this. This area is going to change some through the week, but that's our starting area: northern Texas, Oklahoma, eastern Kansas into northwestern Missouri, including Kansas City. That is late Friday afternoon into Friday night. And the other concern is for flooding. We get the rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, then again Friday into Saturday morning. There's a chance of 1 to 3 inches across the area. That could lead to minor flooding, especially for communities where those heavier storms roll through.
A unique piece of history is landing in Kansas City today. The Freedom plane will arrive at the downtown airport, kicking off a national tour featuring 9 original founding era documents from the National Archives. The arrival will include a ceremonial water cannon salute before the official program begins this afternoon. The tour marks America's 250th anniversary, with the full exhibit opening to the public later this week. Kansas Cityans and first responders climbed nearly 40 stories over the weekend, all to raise awareness. It takes 902 steps to reach the top of One Kansas City Place, the tallest building in Kansas City. The group walked up every flight Sunday for the Fight for Air climb. It's meant to call attention to people affected by lung disease and lung cancer. So why stair climbing? Well, it represents the daily struggle of people with lung disease.
Those affected by lung disease have a hard time breathing, something we take for granted, those of us with healthy lungs. So this kind of stimulates what it's like for them on a daily basis, like, having a hard time breathing.
Every dollar raised from the climb will go to the American Lung Association to fund education and research. The Nelson Atkins Museum of Art hosted a colorful and musical afternoon over the weekend. Hundreds of people turned out for the Native American Cultural Festival, celebrating indigenous cultures through dance, art, food, and hands-on fun. Organizers say events like these help remind people Kansas City sits on the original homelands of the Kaw, Cherokee, Osage, and other tribal nations.
It means a lot to be able to bring not only the local Native communities, but also to welcome our patrons and relatives within the community.
You're right. The festival has been around since 2010, but organizers say this year was expected to be one of the biggest yet. The museum plans to keep building on each year. So cool.
A rainy and stormy weather pattern ahead beginning Tuesday with a first alert weather impact day, and then through the end of the week. It's not going to be a washout on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be off and on showers and thunderstorms. So you're going to need your umbrella, your rain gear, send the kids to school with a rain jacket. Make sure you download the KMBC app just in case there's any alerts issues. You're going to be sure and get those on your phone. And you're going to want that anyways as we head into storm season. You know, this is the beginning of storm season for Kansas and Missouri, beginning of March. You know, stuff starts to pick up by the time you get into April, especially into May. So you got lots of time to get that going. Friday, also an impact day. Friday, late in the day into the evening, the severe weather threat does increase a little bit. We're going to monitor that time closest through the whole week.
And we know you and the rest of the weather team will be on top of it. Thanks for joining us at noon. We'll see you at 4 for more local news and weather. Have a good one.